Today we will talk about recognizing employee contributions with pay. In a competitive job market with low unemployment rates, organizations must offer competitive salaries and benefits to attract and retain talent while managing labor costs effectively to stay competitive. This involves careful consideration of fixed labor costs. Chapter 11 focused on setting pay for jobs, while this chapter shifts to setting pay for individual employees. The goal is to use pay as a tool to recognize and reward employees' contributions to the organization's success. Pay differentiation among employees is based on factors like individual, group, or organizational performance, seniority, skills, and other relevant criteria. Evaluating pay programs for recognizing employee contributions involves considering costs, expected returns on investment in terms of employee attitudes and behaviors, alignment with the organization's human resource and business strategies, and potential unintended consequences. Organizations have discretion in structuring their pay systems, determining how to distribute the total compensation budget among employees based on factors like performance, profits, seniority, etc. This how-to-pay decision impacts productivity and return on investment, regardless of cost differences, with research indicating that pay program structure significantly affects profitability. Okay. Now the question is, how does pay influence individual employees? The effect a pay plan has on the behaviors of current employees is a topic that can be understood through various theories and concepts. Pay plans are commonly used by organizations to influence and shape the behavior of their employees in order to achieve specific goals and outcomes. Reinforcement theory suggests that when employees are rewarded for good performance, they are more likely to repeat the behavior in the future. In this context, compensation management implies that if employees consistently perform well and receive monetary rewards, they are more likely to continue performing at a high level. Conversely, if high performance is not followed by a monetary reward, it becomes less likely to be repeated in the future. This theory highlights the significance of actual experiences of rewards in motivating behavior. The goal of pay plans is to motivate employees, and this is where equity theory comes into play. Equity theory focuses on employees' perceptions of fairness in comparison to others. Employees are motivated to perceive fairness in the rewards they expect for their performance, and when they perceive inequality, it can lead to negative outcomes. If employees feel unfairly treated in terms of compensation, it may drive them to take actions such as quitting, reducing their effort, or lacking cooperation. To maintain a motivated and engaged workforce, it is important for organizations to address perceptions of inequality and work towards restoring equity. In addition to reinforcement theory and equity theory, there are three other theories that explain the effects of compensation: expectancy theory, agency theory, and reinforcement theory. We will discuss these theories in the next slides. Expectancy theory asserts that increased effort leads to increased performance, and high performance is linked to high rewards. It identifies two primary motivators: the desire for certain outcomes and the perceived likelihood of obtaining them. While expectancy theory focuses on the relationship between rewards and behaviors, it primarily emphasizes expected rewards rather than the actual experience. In other words, it centers on the effects of incentives and their impact on motivation. Job performance is considered a function of both ability and motivation, with motivation being influenced by expectancy, instrumentality, and valence perceptions. Expectancy refers to the belief that a specific level of effort will result in a particular level of performance. This is known as effort to performance expectancy. For instance, if you believe that investing more study hours will lead to a higher grade, it indicates a high expectancy. You perceive that your efforts will make a difference, prompting the question, will I be able to perform at the desired level on a task? Instrumentality, on the other hand, is the expectation that successful task performance will lead to desired outcomes or rewards. This is referred to as performance to reward expectancy. Employees assess whether their performance will be recognized and rewarded accordingly. They question what outcomes they will receive if they perform at a certain level, contemplating the link between their performance and desirable results. Valence perceptions relate to the value or importance workers assign to potential outcomes or rewards. It reflects the individual's preferences and desires concerning the expected rewards. Each employee may have unique valences for the same outcome. For instance, one may highly value a financial bonus, while another may prioritize recognition or work-life balance. Understanding valence helps organizations tailor their compensation plans to better align with employees' preferences, thereby increasing motivation. Expectancy theory includes two parts: extrinsic and intrinsic motivation. Extrinsic motivation is driven by external rewards or the avoidance of punishment. It occurs when individuals engage in a behavior or activity to earn a reward or avoid something unpleasant. This type of motivation relies on rewards controlled by an external source, such as monetary compensation or other benefits given by others. Extrinsic motivation is about seeking external validation and tangible rewards from performing a specific task. Intrinsic motivation, on the other hand, involves engaging in a behavior because it is personally rewarding or fulfilling. It is driven by internal factors and the inherent satisfaction or enjoyment derived from the activity itself. Intrinsic motivation is about finding personal meaning, satisfaction, or a sense of accomplishment in the task or activity. It is not dependent on external rewards, but rather on the inherent value and interest in the work itself. Both extrinsic and intrinsic motivation are important in stimulating desire and energy in individuals, keeping them interested, committed, and motivated in their jobs, roles, or pursuits of goals. While there is some evidence suggesting that monetary incentives may reduce intrinsic motivation in certain contexts, such as in educational settings, the impact is generally small and may not be highly relevant to most work environments where monetary payment is the norm. In fact, research indicates that intrinsic motivation can be enhanced when extrinsic incentives are present. In the workplace, incentive pay has been found to have positive effects on performance, which is influenced by both intrinsic and extrinsic motivation. Okay, now what is agency theory? Agency theory is a principle used to explain and address issues in the relationship between principals, such as owners or shareholders, and agents, such as company executives, in business organizations. It focuses on understanding decision-making and control in situations where there is a potential conflict of interest between decision-makers and those whose wealth is affected by those decisions. The fundamental concern of agency theory is to examine the dynamics between principals and agents and the potential conflicts that may arise. One key aspect is the concept of agency costs, which arise from conflicts of interest between managers, agents, and owners, principals. The interests and objectives of managers may not always align with those of the owners or shareholders. This misalignment can lead to agency costs. There are two primary factors contributing to agency costs. First, managers or agents may have personal goals that differ from the objectives of the owners or shareholders. For example, managers may prioritize actions that enhance their own position or benefits rather than maximizing value for the company. Second, there is the issue of information asymmetry, where managers possess more information about their own actions and decisions compared to the owners or shareholders. This lack of perfect information can create a situation where managers pursue their own goals without the owner's knowledge or understanding. Examples of agency costs include managers making investments or acquisitions that do not add value to the company but serve their personal interests. Additionally, differences in risk attitudes between managers and shareholders can lead to conflicts. Shareholders may be willing to diversify their investments, but managers, fearing the loss of their sole income source, may resist diversification. To mitigate agency problems, some companies appoint additional observers or supervisors to oversee the work of directors or decisions made by executives. These measures aim to prevent actions that may harm the company's interests and ensure alignment with the owner's objectives. Such oversight helps reduce information asymmetry and provides a system of checks and balances within the organization. To minimize agency costs and address potential conflicts of interest, designing contracts between agents and principals is crucial. These contracts help align the interests of the agent with those of the principal, thereby reducing agency costs. Two types of contracts are commonly used: outcome-oriented contracts and behavior-based contracts. Outcome-oriented contracts link compensation to the outcomes or performance of the agent. For example, if profits are high, the agent's compensation increases, but if profits decline, the compensation decreases. This type of contract aligns the interests of the company and its employees, as both benefit from improved performance. However, outcome-oriented contracts also increase the agent's risk. Agents, being risk-averse, may require higher pay to compensate for this increased risk. Therefore, a trade-off between risk and incentives must be considered. Behavior-based contracts, on the other hand, focus on specific behaviors rather than outcomes. They do not transfer risk to the agent, and as a result, do not require compensating wage differentials. However, in behavior-based contracts, the principal must have the ability to monitor and verify the agent's behavior. This can be achieved through increased supervision or structuring the contract in a way that links pay at least partially to outcomes. When the contract between the principal and agent is outcome-based, the agent is more likely to act in the interests of the principal. Similarly, when the principal has the ability to verify the agent's behavior, the agent is more likely to act in the interests of the principal. Okay. Now, how do pay sorting effects influence labor force composition? Pay sorting effects refer to the influence of different pay systems on the composition of the labor force within an organization. When pay is used to recognize employee contributions, it can have an impact on the behaviors, attitudes, and characteristics of the current workforce, as well as the type of individuals the organization attracts. One example of a pay sorting effect is when an organization links pay to performance. In such cases, the organization is likely to attract more high-performing individuals compared to organizations that do not link pay to performance. High performers are often motivated by the opportunity for higher compensation based on their individual achievements. This sorting effect can lead to a workforce composed of individuals who are driven, ambitious, and motivated to excel. Similarly, pay systems can also influence job retention. Organizations that have pay systems tied to performance may be able to retain high-performing employees better than organizations that do not offer such incentives. The prospect of higher pay and rewards for individual performance can serve as a motivating factor for employees to stay with the organization. This sorting effect can result in a labor force comprising individuals who are more focused on individual achievement and advancement. Different pay systems can attract individuals with different personality traits and values. Organizations that emphasize individual performance-based pay may be more likely to attract employees who are individualistic, self-driven, and comfortable taking risks. On the other hand, organizations that rely more heavily on team-based rewards may attract employees who are more team-oriented, collaborative, and value cooperation. These sorting effects highlight the importance of aligning compensation programs with the overall organizational and human resource strategy. Organizations often use compensation plans to differentiate pay based on employee performance, especially in higher-level positions where performance significantly impacts the organization. High performers are key value creators and should be fairly compensated to maintain motivation and retention. However, in team-based or collectivist cultures, individual pay differentiation may hinder cooperation and innovation. The concept of incentive intensity is crucial in pay-for-performance plans, as it defines the strength of the link between performance and pay. While a strong incentive can motivate, it may also have unintended negative consequences. Pay for performance is most effective in roles with objective performance metrics, such as sales or executive positions. Conversely, it's challenging to apply in jobs with subjective performance measures. It's essential to consider the potential unintended consequences of pay for performance plans, such as neglecting aspects like efficiency or customer service innovation when pay is solely linked to sales. In designing these plans, organizations must balance differentiation, fairness, context, incentive intensity, and performance measurability to motivate employees effectively and avoid negative outcomes. Okay. Types of pay for performance or pay programs. Pay programs for recognizing employee contributions can be classified based on 3 dimensions. 1. Payout structure. Programs can differ in whether payouts become part of base pay, such as merit pay or skill-based pay, are a fixed cost, or are variable. Base pay programs typically provide permanent increases to an employee's salary, while variable programs offer contingent rewards based on performance outcomes. 2. Performance measurement. Some programs, like merit pay and merit bonuses, primarily rely on subjective measures to assess performance. In contrast, incentive pay programs often utilize more objective performance measures, such as sales targets or productivity metrics. 3. Level of measurement. Performance can be measured at the individual level, such as individual merit pay, at the unit level, such as gain sharing, where a group shares in productivity gains, or at the organization level, such as profit sharing or ownership. Organizations do not have to choose one program exclusively. Instead, a combination of pay programs is often the most effective solution. Different programs may have varying impacts on teamwork, individual initiative, and overall performance. By combining programs, organizations can achieve a balance that aligns with their objectives and human resource strategy. This approach increases the likelihood that the pay for performance program will have the intended effect, while minimizing unwanted consequences and problems. It is essential for companies to care about both financial and non-financial aspects of jobs and how they contribute to future financial results. By considering non-financial measures, organizations can avoid an excessive focus on short-term outcomes and ensure a more comprehensive evaluation of employee contributions. In traditional merit pay programs, annual base pay increases are typically tied to performance appraisal ratings. However, some organizations have shifted towards using merit bonuses instead of permanent salary increases. Merit pay, including merit bonuses, is a form of variable pay that allows for the recognition and reward of a broad range of performance dimensions. Merit pay programs often utilize a merit increase grid, which determines the size and frequency of pay increases based on two factors. The first factor is the individual's performance rating, with better performers receiving higher pay increases. The second factor is the individual's position in the pay range, often measured by the compa ratio, the ratio of an employee's actual salary to the midpoint of the salary range for their position. The compa ratio is factored in to control compensation costs and maintain the integrity of the pay structure. Not factoring in the compa ratio could lead to uncontrolled growth in compensation costs for employees who continue to perform the same job year after year. By considering the compa ratio, organizations can assess where an employee's pay is currently and where it should be based on their performance level. Larger and more frequent pay increases may be necessary to move an employee to the correct position if they are far from the targeted pay level. Conversely, smaller pay increases may be sufficient for employees already at the targeted pay level, with the goal of maintaining their position. The distribution of performance ratings also requires attention in controlling compensation costs. If a large percentage of employees consistently receive top performance ratings, it can lead to significant cost growth, as most employees will be above the midpoint of the pay range, resulting in high compa ratios. Organizations may establish guidelines to limit the percentage of employees placed in the top performance categories, ensuring a more balanced distribution. Traditional merit pay programs typically have the following characteristics. They identify individual differences in performance, primarily relying on supervisor ratings. They link pay increases to performance appraisal results, and they assume that individual performance reflects differences in ability or motivation, with system constraints on performance seen as less significant. The criticisms of traditional merit pay programs include 1. Unfairness of individual performance rating. System factors often overshadow individual efforts, making performance ratings seem unfair. 2. Discouragement of teamwork. Focusing on individual achievements can undermine collaboration and collective goals. 3. Inaccurate performance measurement. Over-reliance on supervisor ratings and hesitancy to use comprehensive 360-degree feedback can lead to inaccurate assessments. 4. Process issues. Poor communication and unclear standards can hinder merit pay program administration. 5. Limited pay differences. Small pay increments may not be seen as significant, but they can lead to large disparities over time. 6. Entitlement mentality. Employees might expect continual pay increases without corresponding performance, leading to an entitlement culture. 7. Merit bonuses as an alternative. Merit bonuses are becoming more popular as they control fixed costs and reward high performance without increasing base salaries permanently. 8. Career advancement and higher paying opportunities. Performance often influences career progression more than pay increases within the same job. Balancing individual and group objectives, ensuring fair and accurate performance measurement, and considering alternatives like merit bonuses are crucial for effective merit pay programs. Communicating the benefits of high performance and career advancement opportunities can help employees value their contributions. Individual incentives, as a form of rewarding individual performance, are not as common in the workplace compared to merit pay. There are several reasons for this. 1. Lack of measurable output. Difficulty in quantifying performance in many roles hinders objective measurement for incentives. 2. Administrative challenges. Establishing fair standards for incentives is complex and adds to administrative tasks. 3. Potential narrow focus. Incentives may cause employees to focus only on rewarded tasks, limiting broader engagement and teamwork. 4. Incompatibility with team approach. Individual incentives may not support a team-oriented work culture, potentially reducing cooperation. 5. Inconsistent with skill acquisition. Tying incentives to output can discourage time investment in learning and problem solving. 6. Quality and customer service concerns. Emphasis on quantity can lead to neglect of quality and customer service. 7. Risk and unintended consequences. Variable pay plans introduce uncertainty and can lead to system manipulation for income protection. Effective individual incentives should include a range of objectives, not just output, and consider quality, customer service, and skill development to foster a flexible and innovative workforce. Profit sharing is a compensation strategy where employees receive additional payments based on the company's profits, separate from their base salary. The key points include: encourages ownership mentality. It motivates employees to adopt an owner's perspective and work towards the organization's improvement. Promotes cooperation. Aims to foster teamwork and reduce self-centered behavior. Adjusts labor costs. Payments fluctuate with company performance, helping manage labor costs during economic fluctuations. Uncertain impact on performance. It's difficult to attribute profit increases to profit sharing, and the motivational effect may be weak if employees don't see a direct link between effort and reward. Deferred payouts. Most plans delay payments, which can cause dissatisfaction during economic downturns when employees don't receive bonuses despite good performance. Perceptions of unfairness. Payment distribution methods can vary, leading to feelings of inequity. Variable labor cost advantage. While it can make labor costs more flexible, this may not be beneficial for companies with ongoing competitive struggles. Okay. Employee ownership. Approximately 20 million Americans own company stock, akin to employee ownership, promoting a focus on organizational success. However, ownership places stronger emphasis on success than profit sharing. Motivational effects of ownership, like profit sharing, may diminish with larger organizations. Unlike profit sharing, ownership links pay and performance less directly, impacting motivation according to reinforcement theory. Stock options offer a route to employee ownership, allowing profit from stock sales if prices rise. Initially for executives, stock options are now common among lower-level employees, especially in startups. Studies suggest higher organizational performance when top and mid-level managers hold stock options, aligning with agency theory. Concerns exist about the cost and value of stock options, with accounting changes prompting some companies to move away from them. Challenges arise when stock prices fall, impacting employee stock and options. Measures like option exchanges aim to address employee motivation during such times, as seen with Google's underwater option exchange. Gain-sharing programs, unlike profit-sharing plans, focus on specific groups or plants' performance, offering more controllable measures for employees. Payouts are frequent and not deferred, combining organization-oriented plans with individual-oriented ones. Similar to profit sharing, gain sharing encourages broader goals pursuit, but motivates akin to individual plans due to controllable measures and payout frequency. Research shows gain-sharing programs enhance overall performance. The Scanlon Plan, dating back to the 1930s, is a notable gain-sharing program. It rewards employees and the organization if labor costs remain below a set standard. Savings are shared, typically with 45% to the organization and 55% to employees, with a portion reserved for future cost contingencies. Beyond monetary rewards, gain sharing emphasizes employee involvement in improving production through problem-solving teams and suggestion systems. Success factors include management commitment, continuous improvement focus, support for employee input, cooperation, information sharing, goal setting, and alignment with managerial objectives. Gain-sharing plans typically operate at the plant level, while group incentives and team awards are geared towards smaller work groups. Group incentives, akin to individual incentives, often gauge performance based on physical output, whereas team award plans may encompass a broader range of measures, such as cost savings or meeting deadlines. While these plans can promote collaboration within groups, they may also spur competition between different teams. Individual competition may diminish, but inter-group or inter-team competition could arise. It's vital to recognize individual performance differences to prevent demotivation or attrition among high performers, underscoring the importance of considering the impact on workforce composition. Like other incentive schemes, establishing a fair standard-setting process perceived as equitable is crucial. These standards should cover vital performance dimensions, including quality, as neglecting them may undermine effectiveness, employee motivation, and satisfaction. Okay. Now the final topic we will discuss is issues related to performance-based pay for executives. Executive compensation is a critical aspect of organizational strategy, considering the profound impact top executives wield on company performance. Although scrutiny often arises when executive pay appears disconnected from profitability or stock performance, research suggests that, in most cases, it aligns with shareholder return. From an agency theory standpoint, Executive pay aims to align managerial actions with shareholder interests. Outcome-oriented contracts, tying executive compensation to organizational profitability or stock performance, are prevalent. Short-term bonuses and long-term incentive plans, like restricted stock and stock options, incentivize executives to pursue both short and long-term organizational objectives. While putting pay at risk can drive performance, excessive risk-taking may result from overly risky compensation structures. Achieving a balance is key, and companies vary in their use of incentive programs. Research suggests that greater reliance on these plans correlates with higher subsequent profitability among top and mid-level managers. The balanced scorecard approach, considering shareholder, customer, and employee objectives, enhances executive pay design. It emphasizes the validation of financial results through leading indicators like customer and employee metrics, preventing a narrow focus on aggressive financial goals that could lead to unethical behavior. Regulatory pressure and shareholder activism advocate for stronger links between executive pay and performance. SEC rules mandate increased disclosure of compensation levels and performance comparisons. Dodd-Frank Act provisions, like say-on-pay and pay ratio disclosure, further promote transparency. To address executive misconduct, clawback policies and limits on bonus payments are implemented. Institutional investors propose guidelines prioritizing shareholder interests in executive pay decisions, advocating for director independence from management.
Thank you for watching. If you liked this video, please like and subscribe to channel.